All right, welcome to the Dopest podcast. I am your host, Andrea Kitten, and this is where I showcase the dopest artists and their expertise. So I'm here with John Dierre.
Yeah, what's up,
he
y'all?
is,
What's up?
well, I know him as a filmmaker and a creative. But if you can just introduce yourself and tell us about what you do and what you're passionate about artistically.
What am I passionate about artistically? Honestly, community, black people, black and beauty. That's what I specialize in. That's what I grew up on. So I'm a filmmaker. That's what I do.
Did you say black immunity?
Black and beauty.
Black and beauty.
Yes,
Love it.
yes. That's what I specialize in. Like, basically, I'm a cinematic artist. That's what I see myself as. Specifically, I direct, I shoot, and I edit. It's all about, it is a form of like personal expression for me, but it's like also showcasing the community around me. And like through that, I'm like, I discover more about myself. I discover more about like how to recontextualize like how we see ourselves and how others see us, you know, and like I try to use my talents to help others like visualize, you know, their visions, to help them execute their visions. And that's something that's like very special for me, and usually that's like other black folks, you know what I'm saying? Us.
For sure.
So that's what I specialize in: black, beauty, community, and you know, sharing messages, helping share messages, you know. A lot of my visuals are like, I got a lot of thoughts in my head, but
I got you.
like seriously though, it just, I help others, you know, really see what they visualize to help them get their visions out and how to execute that.
Right.
And that's like, that's something that's so thrilling for me, and it's exciting to just, for others to, you know, you see their smiles, you see their like, their satisfaction, you see like how they never, the discoveries that they did, that they found out through it, and they see themselves. Yeah, so, yeah, it's just, it's a lot, but, yeah, I do a lot of everything because I had to, you know, I didn't have a lot of other resources around me, so I just had to like teach myself. So that's why like I direct, I shoot, and I edit. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry, I was long-winded.
No, I love it. It's all good. You really displayed like your passion for, you know, telling those stories and bringing other people's visions to life. So I love it. I love it. So how did you get into being a visual storyteller? Like, how did you, was it a film that inspired you? Was it just life? Like, what made you want to do it?
I think it was a couple of things. Like my dad, often when I was younger, we had like a discount Blockbuster. I'm from Riverdale, or College Park, but we lived on Riverdale Road, and next to the Quick Trip. Anybody know where that at?
Which Quick Trip?
on Riverdale Road. They know what that is. It's across from the Checkers. So people know that, they'll know that. But yeah, it used to be like a discount like Blockbuster there, and we used to like often get movies and like watch movies every Friday night. So that was always like a special thing for me. And then my grandmother on my mom's side was like heavily into like, she was a preacher, so in the ministry, and just like, you know, helping others spiritually and like sharing messages and stuff. So like I remember like wanting to be a preacher growing up, and then I wanted to be like an astronaut. Of course, everyone wanted to be an astronaut, and then then I wanted to be like a gynecologist, but that was some crazy shit.
How did you even know about gynecology?
It was on I had discovered this site that I wasn't supposed to, and I thought that was how it rolled, but nah, that wasn't how it rolled. Anyways, it was a couple of movies that I saw in my childhood, but I remember Spike on Do the Right Thing, and when I was like 12 years old, and that like I was watching a lot of other movies, cause like Tarantino and like old, you know, Denzel movies and Sopranos and stuff like that. But like when I saw like Spike, he was like directed, produced, and he acted. I was like, what is all these roles? What does all that mean? And you know, that just like led me down a rabbit hole through just like what movies were, what cinema is, what, you know, what I've been experiencing my whole life, like in terms of like visually. And I used to daydream a lot as a child too, so like my mom and sisters would be like, my little sister, she would be like, I'm playing in La La Land, like I was always just like, I graduated from action figures to just like visualizing what I thought was their characters who I like stole from other things, and just like would make movies in my head from them, and just kind of like, you know, it would like escape, you know. And then basically when I was in 7th grade, my teacher he was a photographer, and me and a couple of classmates, we made a video. He helped us make a video to help our middle school prepare for exams, so that we got good exams. And it was like so creative and just thrilling, and like it kind of showed me, like introduced me into like what you know goes into creating something visually. And then we showed it to our middle school class, like the 7th, 6th, and 8th grade. And it wasn't a big class. I mean, it wasn't big school. It was like maybe 90, 80 kids. But that was like my first screening, you know what I'm saying? Like 7th grade.
That's so dope.
I still remember that, you know what I'm saying? How people like felt when they were watching that. And we were like in it too, and it was just like, I kind of understood like what, you know, how you could affect people with visuals,
right?
You know, and that kind of started me. That led me down a path of, you know, I started writing essays to different schools, because the school that I went to, Atlanta Youth Academy, in my middle school years, they were like sending kids off to diversity programs and boarding schools, and I was like, you know what, I kind of want to get out of Atlanta. And I wrote essays about how I wanted to make films. And I went up north for my high school years, and that's what I met an art teacher. She was a video teacher there. She was a video artist. That's what I would say. She was a video artist. She sort of taught me a little bit more about the act of creating, of editing, of like, you know, being on your feet and still making projects based on the subject. Or it was a long road, but like I mean, like in my high school years, like especially in my later years, I got to really like a whole semester I got to just work on one film, and that was really transformative for me, because man, I kind of did my own version of like film school in high school. So spring break came around, I'm trying to shoot a whole feature with my little sister, you know, and I tried, and I still have that film. It's crazy, but
Wow.
that whole journey is what kind of started me into the process of filmmaking, and what led into videography, which I do think is a little different from like filmmaking, but.
What's the difference?
I think the difference between videography and filmmaking is like, it's like different mandates, ultimately. Like, I know that's like a technical term, but it's different mandates, like different, it's a different meaning in terms of like creating it. I feel like videography is more geared towards helping sharing moments and sharing experiences, and cinema filmmaking is more so for making people feel a certain emotion and sharing messages that way. So it's a fine, because videography uses certain techniques from cinema to make people feel certain things about these moments, but like it's rooted in different like mandates. Does that make sense?
I think I get what you're saying. Like with both, you can tell the story.
Right.
But yeah, I think I can get the gist of what you're saying.
Like yeah, I think with movie making, it's like
you can use more imagination.
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I'm making a video for somebody, I'm tailoring to the moments and messages that they're trying to capture, rather than like, I don't know.
Rather than like your own.
Yeah,
but you are adding like some of your own creativity in it.
It's true.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like I'm smuggling that in there.
I got you.
In those moments, and a lot of times, like the corporate, they try to take out those.
But filmmaking is more freedom for you.
Yeah, it's a lot more freedom, and just like the motivation that I'm trying to make people like feel a certain way. I am making people feel a certain way in videography, but it's for a different means, like a different end.
And it might have to be like for like a client and what they need versus something that is coming straight from your mind, something that you want to portray.
Yeah. That you feel personally embedded to it, just like it's like a lot of times personal projects are just like it comes out from just a curiosity that you have. Just like it's like a little like seed, and it just grows, and it's stronger curiosity, and it's just like, wow, these different signs in my life are leading me to a certain story that I'm trying to tell. And then that story, like, usually that story ends up having some type of like universal truth through how specific it is, and like that's what like connecting people on that universal truth. It's like and making people feel an emotional way. That's what like cinema is, and that's the importance of it. That's like different from videography, because I am mixing my clients like hemisphere
Yeah.
with that. And so personal projects are like, they grip you in a different way.
I feel it.
For sure.
Man, I just love your passion for filmmaking and like just being the creative that you are. I'm just remembering like working with you years ago and how you helped me to do my poetry video and just seeing how it turned out, like the finished product, if you will. It was like, dang, like seeing myself like spit the poem and how you put all the shots together. It was just super dope. Like you really captured me, and that was like one of the best poetry videos that I can say that I've done. So we definitely got to do something else together. Like
I'm waiting for it.
soon. Yeah,
For real.
that was
For
super
real.
dope. I just love your eye, your that you have that vision. Where do you think that comes from though? Like I know you said that you watched films and you were inspired by Spike Lee and people like that, but like to have that kind of creativity, that type of vision, like that has to come from somewhere. Like where do you think that you get it from? Like that's like ingrained.
So, man, it's crazy. I was with my grandma yesterday, and she was showing me a few of our old pictures, and like, I can show it to you real quick. Like, I've been surrounded. Like, I think back on like my childhood. Like that's my father.
Wow.
That's my father and my sister. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's an old picture, but like
So
I don't know if
cute.
y'all can see it. But like it's, you know what I'm saying? I've seen pictures like this
Yeah.
throughout my childhood. So like subconsciously,
There's so much that photo says.
you feel me? Like
There's so much that it
there's
says.
so much beauty in that. There's so
Yeah.
much love in that. Like, and I mean, we went through some tough times, but like, look at me.
Aww.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that's a whole movie.
Yeah.
That's a whole
There's so much
movie.
emotion in it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
good.
like I still know some of these people. So like,
Why do your photos look cinematic though? Like I can think back to photos that I have as a child and they don't look like that. That's crazy.
I think the lighting was good. So some good lighting. But I mean, that's another thing I think about. So I mean, I love lighting, and I love like how it looks on black skin. Like sometimes I would like look at my own skin like growing up, and just like put it in the sunlight and just like, you know what I'm saying? Just like really like look, and I'm always observant. I've always been super observant. And usually like I'm quiet around people who I don't really know, or just like at first, because like I do read people, but like I just observe, and I think I think I've developed that eye of, of observancy or whatever through, different international stuff. Like I've like studied like a lot of different things, from just images to like movies, all types of movies and all types of videos and clips and stuff. So I'm always like researching different things, but I really think that eye comes from, like I said, like a mix of just like beauty from growing up and just being very observant, and then learning different cinematic techniques to add to that, observant mind and beauty.
Yeah. So how did you know how beautiful, recognize how beautiful black was at such a young age. Like, because I know a lot of us, like, coming up, you know, we had negative views of, like, blackness. And, you know, like, for me, I was always the dark one. Like, they used to call me black when I was little. Or, you know, I was the least desired because my sisters were light-skinned. My best friend was light-skinned. My cousins, you know, like, that I hung with directly light-skinned. You know, so it's like, how did you know? Like, was that, were you brought up that way? Or?
No, that was, I think I went through a similar experience in a way of, like, when I was writing to leave Atlanta to try to go to try to kind of escape. I did try to escape this beauty, this black beauty. I tried to, like, I wanted to leave the circumstances that was around me. I mean, it was just, you know, there was some times where I just didn't want to be around my family just because of certain things, but leaving and writing those essays to go off to school, and then going off to school, being in this white space. I was in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, near Pennsylvania, on the edge of Pennsylvania, and it was just like, yo, where's there's something missing here.
Yeah.
And
where we at?
Those yeah, I mean those yeah, and where were we? I mean, it was like 20 of us out of, like, maybe like 500-600 people, maybe 30 of us, and, like, some of them were, like, foreign students too. So the first 2 years was hard.